I'm Ellie and welcome back to my little corner of the internet where I document my travels of Australia's east coast in my self-converted Toyota Hiace Arcadia. And if you're subscribed, you would notice I'm not in my van again this week, and that's because van life is over for me because it is winter in Australia at the moment, but I do have weeks worth of videos on the editing backlog, so they will be coming out every single Saturday as usual, so stay tuned for those. But this video, come along with me to the central Queensland coast where I visited Great Keppel Island and Cape Hillsborough, heading towards the Whitsundays. I'm Ellie Wilder and you're watching Wilder in Motion. In my last vlog I visited Lady Elliot Island and I flew back to Bundaberg Airport from that, and then I drove to Rockhampton, which is further north up the coast. I just had a little stop over here as it is a regional town that is mainly known for its beef but doesn't have a whole lot of tourist attractions, but it was very nicely maintained. Generally I find that the Queensland governments do have better facilities than New South Wales. I also stopped by the Botanical Gardens where I ran into a couple of wild emus. This is only the second time I've ever seen emus in the wild. The other time was in the Northern Territory, and this is the closest that I've been to them. It threw me off guard a little at first because they were just in this kind of fenced off building area, so it just looked really out of place seeing them in amongst all of the rubble, but I pretty quickly worked out that they had gotten in there themselves and they weren't trapped. I went through the various different gardens. It was very peaceful, as it is in lots of regional Australia. Not that many people around. I also stopped by the War Memorial there, saw some other native Queensland wildlife, and then I headed for a little bit of a bushwalk. I wanted to catch the sunset, but I was a bit late, so the sun had mostly already set, but I did still catch some of the nice colours through the sky just towards the end of the sunset. Then I parked up near the coast, ready to head to Great Keppel Island. I wanted to visit Great Keppel Island to do more snorkeling on the Great Barrier Reef, and the good thing about this place is that you can snorkel just straight off the beach. You don't have to get a boat out there, so you only have to catch the ferry to the island, which was about $30, rather than paying $100 or $200 for a ferry to take you all the way out to the reef. There were so many butterflies in Queensland in general, just everywhere I went, so that was kind of weird, but cool as well. I walked up to the lookout first of all, which was a long way. This island was absolutely terribly signposted. I had no idea where I was going most of the time, no idea how long it would take me to get to places. I eventually arrived at this beach, which is Monkey Beach. It was about 40 minutes away from where the ferry dropped us off. And this is where you could get out to the reef from. If you haven't seen my previous Lady Elliot Island vlog, then check that out because that is some of the best snorkeling in the world, so it was certainly setting a high bar for this. And there was a huge amount of fish there. They were all pretty small and they were species that I had seen before, but there was a lot to see. I was hoping that the coral would be a bit brighter though, because at Lady Elliot Island it was mostly brown, which it was here too. It did get brighter as I went out to the Whitsundays, so subscribe if you want to see that vlog, which will be coming up. But mostly the snorkeling probably didn't live up to that very high standard that I now had. It was very shallow, so you definitely wouldn't have been able to do this with flippers on, and it was just like one big island of reef, so there was nowhere to stand up, so you had to be a confident swimmer. I'm definitely in the right spot on Monkey Beach, so I was a little surprised that there weren't more people there. So I'm not exactly sure, but I thought that I was in the right place, but maybe there is another reef further out that is the one that people normally go to. After snorkeling, I went for a little bit of a walk up and down the beach to explore, and this was the neighbouring beach, which I believe is Horseshoe Beach, and I also walked across the rocks to see what I could see around the other side, and that is the mainland over there. And on the bushwalk back to the main beach where the ferry dropped me off, I also saw an echidna, so even more Australian wildlife. And this is actually the old resort, which is falling into disrepair, but it did make for some interesting urbexing. In general, the island was in dire need of maintenance, and I feel like this resort is kind of just symbolic of how the whole island was. Like, seriously, the council really needed to intervene and come and clean things up in terms of just getting better signposting, better pathways, better roads. There were some parts of the bushwalks and things that was literally more potholes than road, and it was even annoying just walking on it. But it was cool to see this. I did hear someone talking on the boat saying that it's meant to be getting sold to another company and the sale's been taking forever, and that's why it's just sitting there falling apart. Presumably it's eventually going to be demolished and another resort will be built there. But there is a functioning resort on the island at the moment. But in general, I would say just appreciate this vlog. You don't need to go there yourself. Given how badly it was signposted and how just generally run down everything was, I would say that this place wasn't really worth going out of your way for. One good thing though is that they did have a shower, so I was able to wash off there. They didn't have any drinking water. Like, anywhere that I went the whole day, all I had was my one drink bottle, so that was very annoying. And then it was time to end the day. I had some very picturesque scenery on the very calm water though, which was quite cool on the way back because most of the ferries I've been on, the water has been very choppy. I then continued to drive up north to Mackay, which I really had no expectations for, but it was actually so nice here. This beach was just so wide with the mud plains, and there were a few people crab fishing around, but it's just really nice to walk on, and I just love walking up and down the beach and listening to music, so it was really relaxing. Then for sunrise the next day, I headed to Cape Hillsborough to see the wallabies on the beach. They come out at dawn and dusk to feed on what has washed up on the beach, so they just kind of pick around there, which is pretty amazing. Kind of iconic Australian beach and wallabies, so to have them together was super cool. Because I'm an amazing videographer, you can't really tell, but there were actually heaps of tourists around. So I kind of just went to the other part of the beach to hang out there because eventually the wallabies just kind of got scared away by all the people, like you can see in the background there. So they didn't really hang around that long, but when I went to investigate the kind of campground, they were just hanging out on the grass up there, so I was able to just chill with them. And then I headed to the very picturesque Airlie Beach in preparation for heading to the Whitsundays. So yes, in my next vlog I will be headed to the Whitsundays, which I really enjoyed, so I can't wait to share that with you all. I hope you found this video interesting or entertaining or useful, and if you want more van life content then check out my previous videos linked in the description below. Otherwise, I post new videos every single Saturday, so be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.